Hey guys, it's Ryan Camenisch here. I'm with my business partner Chris Schuetz. We wanted to talk with you guys a little bit about real estate investing. I get a question a lot from various people who are thinking about getting into investing. I wanted to kind of pick Chris's brain about. I got a message. Somebody asked me, they own the house that they live in, and they're trying to decide whether or not to keep it as a rental or to sell it and buy multifamily. And so, Chris, what do you think about that idea?
You know, Ryan, that's a really good question. I get that a lot as well. And it's really in this market, we get that question more than we have in the past because we've seen folks with more equity in their homes with the increasing prices here in Lexington over the past 5 years.
Right.
And frankly, there's really no right or wrong answer. It's all a matter of what your perspective is as a homeowner and what your goals are as an investor. So, you know, there are a variety of metrics to look at whenever you're trying to figure out whether it makes sense to rent your home. The first thing you've got to look at is, do I live in a neighborhood with high rental rates as compared to the values of the property?
Right.
So we want to make sure that before we consider anything else, are the rental rates conducive to me renting this property and moving forward and then buying another property?
Yeah.
Or do I need to sell this property and move into an area that's going to have better rental rates at the same valuation on the house?
Very cool. So what would be some options if you were going to, let's say you were going to sell? What would be like your best way to go forward?
Yeah, so if you decided you wanted to sell that property and you wanted to purchase some additional rental property, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you wanted to sell the property, you can go ahead and do that, sell the property because of your rental rates are not going to be in line with what you really want, and then go out and buy, let's say you have $100,000 of equity, you could potentially buy 2, 3, or 4 new investment properties to replace that property that you lived in. You could buy all of those on secondary market loans with 20 to 25% down, and then you could have some cash flowing properties moving forward, and then you'll get those mortgages paid off in 20 to 30 years, which is nice. And then if you decide you want to stop there, that's great. Another route you could go is you could go buy one new investment property and
just
pay cash for it. Pay cash for that new investment property. You don't have to worry about more properties, and now you've got that cash flow coming in. And if you're not looking to have an empire of real estate properties, you could just do that one, maybe do 2, save up some money from the first one, build some more, maybe you get 2, 3, 4 properties that are all paid for. That's a great strategy, and it's a really low risk strategy.
That's awesome. So let's say that you wanted to keep that property. What do you think would be your best? Should you refinance and pull some equity out?
That's a great point. That's a really great point, Ryan. And I think that there are some options if you decide to keep the property. The first thing you want to figure out, again, is A, does the property make sense as a real estate rental property?
Like would you buy it as a rental today?
Correct. If you would buy it as a rental today, then maybe it makes sense to keep. And if you decide you do want to keep that, the next thing you need to consider is your return on your equity. So let's say you do have $100,000 of equity in that property.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. But at the same time, your return on that equity is very low if you're just keeping that one rental property and you still have a mortgage payment on it. You might only make a couple $100 a month, and you've got $100,000 tied up there. When if you took that money out, either by refinancing or by selling, you could reinvest that money somewhere else. So to your point, you could refinance. You could, before you decide to sell or before you decide to move, you could go ahead and refinance that property with a primary residence loan. Perfectly legal. Go ahead and refinance that property and then start looking for your next home. Once you find your next home then and you pulled some equity back out, I would generally recommend 20 to 25% equity is kind of the goal of what you want to have. You don't want to borrow much more than that because it puts you in a tough spot in the long run if we have a downturn or anything.
Okay.
But if you pull some money back out from that, you can go ahead and take that money and invest it elsewhere, and then buy 2, 3, 4, 5 properties, however many you want, with that equity, with the cash that you've had from equity in your house.
Right. So there you guys have kind of like 2 different approaches to dealing with real estate. Chris and I work with a lot of investors and a lot of first-time investors, and we kind of help people map out their goals so that you can kind of fit your real estate portfolio into your needs and your dreams. So please reach out to us. We'd love to chat with you more about real estate and comment on this video. Thanks.